8 shocking archaeological discoveries in China that even the world's top scientists can't explain. A perfectly preserved ancient city resting beneath a lake for decades. A more than 500-year-old mummy with its hair, teeth, and hands still intact as if time had never passed. A mysterious tomb filled with hundreds of priceless treasures belonging to nobles from more than 3,000 years ago. Massive underground tunnels hidden beneath a world-famous palace. And even the fossil of an ancient bird still carrying an unbroken egg after more than 110 million years. It all sounds like something straight out of an adventure movie or a science fiction novel, doesn't it? But surprisingly, every one of these is a real archaeological discovery made in China. Even more astonishing is that despite years of careful research, many of the mysteries surrounding these discoveries continue to puzzle some of the world's leading scientists. The more archaeologists excavate and investigate, the more it seems that history reveals new gaps that modern science still cannot fully explain. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ancient History. If you're fascinated by archaeological mysteries, ancient civilizations, and discoveries that have the power to reshape our understanding of human history, then today's video is one you won't want to miss. Today, we're setting out to explore 8 of the strangest archaeological discoveries ever found in China, where every site hides an unbelievable story. We'll dive beneath the surface of a lake to explore a city that has rested undisturbed for decades, unlock the secrets of ancient tombs overflowing with priceless treasures, follow archaeologists into enormous underground tunnels hidden deep below the earth, and examine fossils more than 110 million years old that are changing what we know about the history of life on Earth. So how has an entire city remained almost perfectly preserved underwater? Why have some mummies survived in such extraordinary condition for hundreds of years? What stories do the treasures inside these ancient tombs reveal about long-lost dynasties? And could these remarkable fossils hold clues to mysteries that modern science has yet to solve? If you're just as curious as I am, then let's begin our journey right now. Because by the end of this video, you may realize that history holds far more mysteries than we ever imagined. Now let's get started. So, the 1,300-year-old tomb that shocked the world. 4 women's bodies, found surrounding a coffin, 2 without a single thread of clothing. You know, one of the most fascinating things about archaeology is that sometimes scientists can spend decades searching without finding anything extraordinary. Yet at other times, history's greatest secrets are uncovered by nothing more than the swing of a pickaxe or the bucket of an excavator. And the story we're about to explore is a perfect example of that. It is a discovery that not only stunned China's archaeological community, but continues to send chills down people's spines whenever it is mentioned, even today, because of what was found inside this ancient tomb. The story began in 2018, when construction workers were building a new highway in the city of Baotou in Inner Mongolia, China. While excavating the site, they unexpectedly noticed unusual signs beneath the ground. Realizing this might not be an ordinary discovery, construction was immediately halted and the workers reported their findings to the local authorities. After receiving the report, the Inner Mongolia Cultural Heritage Bureau suspected the site could contain an extremely important archaeological relic and urgently dispatched 3 archaeologists to investigate. Remarkably, after only half a day of inspection, the experts confirmed that beneath the thick layers of soil lay a large ancient tomb dating back to the Tang dynasty. This was an especially significant discovery because Inner Mongolia is not a region known for having as many royal tombs or historical sites as many other parts of China. Because of the site's exceptional value, the archaeological team repeatedly sought permission to begin a full excavation, and their request was eventually approved. Fortunately, the excavation proceeded smoothly. After just 6 days, the team reached the main burial chamber, but the moment the tomb chamber was opened, everyone stood frozen in shock. At the center of the room sat a large coffin, carefully positioned in place. Surrounding it were 4 motionless bodies. After careful examination, experts confirmed that all 4 were women. What gave everyone goosebumps, however, was not simply the number of bodies, it was their condition. Only 2 of the women were still wearing clothing, although their garments had deteriorated with time. The other 2 had no clothing whatsoever. The unsettling scene immediately raised countless questions. Who were these women? Why were they buried beside the coffin? And what had happened to them more than 1,300 years ago? The answers gradually began to emerge as archaeologists studied the tomb inscription and the burial artifacts discovered inside. The evidence revealed that the tomb belonged to Qin Fen, who served as the commandant of the northern capital garrison under the reign of Emperor Gaozong of the Tang dynasty. Few people know that Qin Fen came from an extremely poor background. He was born in Yulin, Shanxi province, into a farming family with 6 children. Because his family struggled financially, he never had the opportunity to receive an education or pursue the imperial civil service examinations like many of his contemporaries. As an adult, he joined the military in hopes of changing his fate. He began as an ordinary soldier stationed at the Anbai Protectorate, but through his courage and repeated acts of valor in battle, he earned numerous military achievements while suppressing rebellious tribes such as the Huihe, Chigu, and Sijie. These accomplishments gradually earned him promotions until he was eventually appointed commandant of the northern capital garrison. Ironically, however, Qin Fen is remembered today not for his military victories, but for a deeply disturbing final wish. According to the tomb inscription, when Qin Fen died in AD 698, his son, Qin Huan, fulfilled his father's dying request by burying alive the 4 concubines whom Qin Fen had favored most, so they could accompany him into the afterlife. This explains why the 4 women's bodies remained beside the coffin for more than 13 centuries. Yet one mystery remains unsolved. The inscription never explains why 2 of the women were buried wearing clothing, though badly decayed, while the other 2 were completely naked. To this day, that unanswered question remains one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the tomb and continues to puzzle archaeologists. In addition to the haunting human remains, the excavation also uncovered 39 artifacts, including gold and silver objects, ceramic plates, bowls, cups, pottery lamps, bracelets, and many other everyday items that reflect the distinctive artistic style of the Tang dynasty. These priceless discoveries have provided researchers with valuable insight into the lives of government officials more than 1,300 years ago. Yet despite the excitement surrounding these remarkable historical treasures, archaeologists could not help but feel deep sorrow for the fate of the 4 women. By the Tang dynasty, the practice of human sacrifice through burial had long since been officially abolished. Even so, Qin Fen left behind a cruel final request that condemned 4 innocent women to be buried with him forever beneath the earth. So what do you think? Was this simply an isolated case, or are there still other ancient tombs hiding even darker secrets, waiting to be uncovered? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. 500-year-old mummy found beneath a construction site had no treasure, but it shocked the entire archaeological world. Time can destroy magnificent palaces and erase entire civilizations, yet sometimes it seems powerless against a single human being. One remarkable archaeological discovery in China proves exactly that. A Ming dynasty official whose mummified body lay quietly underground for centuries, as if time itself had forgotten him. It wasn't until a group of construction workers accidentally uncovered his coffin that this long-hidden secret was finally brought into the light of the 21st century. The story began on March 20th, when construction workers were repairing a water pipeline at a construction site in Taikang County, Henan Province in central China. While digging, they unexpectedly uncovered an ancient tomb buried deep beneath the ground. Realizing they might have discovered an important historical site, the workers immediately stopped construction and notified the local authorities. Shortly afterward, a team of archaeologists arrived to investigate the site. During the excavation, in addition to the main tomb, archaeologists discovered a tombstone bearing an inscription identifying the burial site as the resting place of officials from the Gu family during the Ming dynasty. The discovery immediately attracted the attention of researchers because several other tombs belonging to the Gu family had previously been found in the same area. But the greatest surprise came only after the coffin was opened. Inside lay the mummified remains of a Ming dynasty official who had rested beneath the earth for approximately 500 years. Astonishingly, the body was preserved in almost perfect condition. Believe it or not, after half a millennium, his hair remained intact. Nearly all of his teeth were still in place, and even his hands had retained their original shape. The only part that had noticeably deteriorated over time was the silk robe he had been buried in. It was a sight that left even experienced archaeologists genuinely astonished. Based on historical records and related documents, Experts identified the man as Gu Po, a Ming dynasty official and the grandson of Gu Zuo, a famous and highly respected government minister known for his honesty and integrity during the Ming dynasty, which lasted from AD 1368 to 1644. This made the discovery even more historically significant, because not only was the body exceptionally well preserved, but the identity of the deceased could also be established with remarkable certainty. There's one fascinating detail that many people probably wouldn't expect. When we hear about the tomb of a high-ranking government official, we usually imagine gold, jade, and countless priceless treasures buried alongside them. But this tomb was completely different. According to Mr. Gay, an official from Taikang County, the tomb was discovered near Maozhuang, an area where numerous other Gu family burial sites have also been found. Most of these tombs share one surprising characteristic: they contain virtually no valuable burial treasures. So why would such a prominent government official receive such a modest burial? Mr. Gay explained that during the Ming dynasty, the imperial court carried out strict anti-corruption campaigns. As a result, many government officials were buried in a relatively simple manner after their deaths, without large amounts of gold, jewels, or other expensive grave goods. That explains why the tomb of such a distinguished official appeared so modest, despite the respected position he once held within the imperial government. Although archaeologists did not uncover the treasure many people might have expected, the scientific value of this discovery proved to be far greater. Wang Deheng, an archaeologist at the Science Communication Research Center of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, CAS, described the discovery as an extremely important archaeological find. According to Wang, a 500-year-old mummy preserved in such extraordinary condition, along with its surviving silk robe, provides an invaluable source of information. It allows researchers to better understand Ming dynasty burial practices, clothing, methods of body preservation, and the everyday lives of government officials during that period. This extraordinary discovery reminds us that the true value of archaeology isn't always measured in gold, silver, or priceless jewels. Sometimes, a single body preserved almost perfectly for 5 centuries is enough to rewrite another chapter of human history. 110-million-year-old bird fossil still containing an intact egg. The story began when a team of Chinese scientists examined a fossil that had been discovered in Yumen City, Gansu Province, in northwestern China. The specimen was preserved in remarkably complete condition and later became the focus of a research paper published in the scientific journal Nature Communications. At first, researchers believed they were simply studying the fossil of an ancient bird that had lived during the Cretaceous period, when dinosaurs still ruled the Earth. However, the more closely they analyzed the specimen, the more they realized it contained a far greater secret than they had ever expected. After extensive research, experts from the Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology and Paleoanthropology, IVPP, of the Chinese Academy of Sciences determined that the fossil represented an entirely new species. They gave it the scientific name Avimaya schweitzeri. The bird belonged to the group Enantiornithes, often called the opposite birds, an extinct group of ancient birds that once lived across much of the world alongside dinosaurs approximately 110 million years ago. But what truly astonished the research team wasn't just the discovery of a new species, it was what they found hidden deep inside the fossil. While using modern imaging techniques to examine the fossil's internal structure, the scientists made an unexpected discovery. There was still an egg preserved inside the mother bird's body. Just imagine that. For more than 110 million years, the egg had remained in exactly the same position inside the fossil. That alone is an extraordinarily rare occurrence. But the surprises didn't end there. A detailed analysis revealed that the mother bird's reproductive system had experienced an unusual complication. Instead of having a single shell like the healthy eggs laid by modern birds, this fossilized egg was surrounded by 2 separate shells. According to Alida Bailul, one of the study's authors, this indicates that the egg remained inside the mother's body for an unusually long time before it could be laid. Scientists explained that a similar condition can occasionally occur in certain living bird species when they experience severe stress or reproductive disorders. When this happens, the egg isn't laid at the proper time. Instead, it remains inside the reproductive tract long enough to develop an additional shell, creating the extremely rare double-shelled structure. Similar abnormalities have also been documented in studies of sauropod dinosaurs, as well as in certain species of modern turtles. The researchers also discovered another fascinating detail. The eggshell was incredibly thin, even thinner than a sheet of paper. This unusual feature provided another important clue that the egg had developed abnormally. According to the research team, the egg becoming trapped inside the mother's body may ultimately have caused her death. Unable to lay the egg, the bird likely suffered prolonged physical stress and reproductive complications until her body could no longer sustain life. Yet the true scientific value of this discovery lies in the fossilized egg itself. Not only was it preserved in its original position, but it also retained several exceptionally rare biological structures, including the eggshell membrane, the outer cuticle, and traces of proteins and other organic materials that have rarely, if ever, been found in fossilized eggs of such great age. These remarkable remains provide scientists with an invaluable source of information, allowing them to better understand how some of the earliest birds on Earth reproduced. In the end, the research team confirmed that Avamaya schweitzerae is an entirely new fossil bird species from the Cretaceous period, one that had never before been identified. Not only does this discovery add an important missing link to the evolutionary history of birds, but it also provides more information about the reproductive system of ancient birds than any other Mesozoic bird fossil discovered to date. And all of this knowledge came from a single, small fossil that had rested silently beneath the Earth for more than 110 million years. Thanks to this extraordinary discovery, scientists have gained another opportunity to unlock secrets that nature has kept hidden since the age of the dinosaurs. So how many more fossils like this are still waiting to be discovered, ready to rewrite the history of life on Earth once again? That remains one of the most fascinating questions science continues to pursue every single day. The 5,300-year-old ancient city, larger than the Forbidden City. Have you ever wondered what existed on the vast land of China before famous dynasties such as the Qin, Han, and Tang rose to power? For decades, that question has remained one of the greatest mysteries debated by historians and archaeologists alike. Some scholars believed that a highly advanced civilization had flourished there thousands of years earlier, while others argued that such theories lacked convincing evidence. Then an archaeological excavation in eastern China forced experts to rethink history. What researchers uncovered wasn't merely a few crumbling walls or ancient pottery fragments. Instead, they discovered the remains of an enormous city that is at least 5,300 years old. A city so vast that it covers an even larger area than the Forbidden City. So, could this have been the capital of a forgotten kingdom that vanished from history? Or are we looking at evidence of an ancient civilization that predates everything we once believed? Let's uncover the answer together. The story begins at the Liangzhu Ancient City Archaeological Site in Yuhang County, Zhejiang Province, in eastern China. While excavating this region, which is already famous for the Liangzhou culture, archaeologists repeatedly uncovered evidence suggesting that this area had once been the center of an enormous urban settlement. Research indicates that the city dates back at least 5,300 years, meaning it existed long before many of China's best-known dynasties were established. What excited archaeologists the most was the sheer scale of the site, which far exceeded their original expectations. The ancient city covered approximately 31.2 million square feet, while its defensive walls were built with impressive strength, measuring roughly 13 to 20 feet wide. Just imagine this for a moment. More than 5,000 years ago, people were already capable of constructing a city on such a monumental scale. What does that tell us about their engineering skills and their ability to organize society? Even more remarkable, the Liangzhu culture is famous for its exquisitely crafted jade artifacts, many of which were created for religious ceremonies. These masterpieces have long been regarded as symbols of the extraordinary craftsmanship of the Liangzhu people and provide compelling evidence that their society was far more advanced than scientists once imagined. According to Liu Bin, a researcher at the Zhejiang Institute of Archaeology, the excavation reached a major turning point when archaeologists began surveying a rice field within the site. Beneath the cultivated soil, they unexpectedly uncovered an ancient ditch approximately 131 feet wide, constructed from densely compacted earth. The ditch also contained a large number of broken pottery fragments, indicating that this area had once supported extensive human activity and large-scale construction. But that was only the beginning. When archaeologists continued excavating a trench along the eastern side of the ditch, running from north to south, they uncovered an enormous structure made of tightly compacted earth and gravel. The discovery astonished the entire research team. After several additional excavation seasons, the archaeologists concluded that what they had initially believed to be a defensive moat was actually a canal surrounding the outside of the city. Meanwhile, the massive elevated structure to the east turned out to be the remains of an ancient city wall. As the excavation expanded, the true size of the city gradually became clear. The city walls stretched approximately 4,920 to 5,580 feet from east to west and 5,905 to 6,230 feet from north to south. Altogether, the city covered about 31.2 million square feet, making it approximately 2.15 million square feet larger than the Forbidden City. The sheer size of the settlement stunned many experts, who found it difficult to imagine that such an enormous city could have been built during the Neolithic period. According to Professor Yan Wenming of Peking University, this is the largest Neolithic city ever discovered in China. He believes the site could very well have served as the capital of the ancient Liangzhu kingdom, a political entity that may have existed thousands of years ago. However, not everyone is ready to draw a final conclusion. Liu Qingzhu, director of the Institute of Archaeology at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, explained that historians have long suspected an ancient kingdom existed in this region approximately 4,000 years ago. Even so, archaeologists still need far more convincing evidence before they can confidently identify Liangzhu ancient city as the capital of that kingdom. According to Liu, if this truly was the center of a powerful political state, then the remains of palaces, government buildings, or other centers of authority should still lie buried somewhere beneath the ground. If those structures are eventually discovered, our understanding of how the earliest Chinese states emerged may need to be rewritten entirely. Yet perhaps the greatest mystery isn't the city's immense size or its incredible age. It's its disappearance. If a powerful kingdom once flourished along China's eastern coast, what caused such a remarkable civilization to vanish with almost no trace left in history? Was it a natural disaster, a devastating war, or some other catastrophic event that modern science has yet to explain? Perhaps the answers are still waiting beneath the fields of Zhejiang province, where future excavations may continue to uncover secrets that have remained buried for more than 5 millennia. Until then, all we can do is wait and see what history reveals next. 23 mysterious tunnels beneath the Potala Palace, the secret behind Tibet's wonder, standing strong for more than 1,300 years revealed. The story began during archaeological surveys and conservation studies at Potala Palace in Lhasa, the Tibet Autonomous Region of China. Archaeologists and heritage preservation engineers unexpectedly discovered a vast underground complex consisting of 23 ancient tunnels hidden beneath the palace's foundation. The discovery immediately attracted the attention of the archaeological community because it not only helped explain the remarkable engineering techniques of ancient builders, but also offered an entirely new perspective on how this famous structure has survived for well over a millennium. According to research conducted by the Chinese Academy of Cultural Heritage, the foundation of Potala Palace was not built using a simple earthen base, as many people had long believed. Instead, ancient architects designed an intricate grid-like foundation system that carefully followed the mountain's natural terrain. This ingenious design evenly distributed the enormous weight of the palace onto the bedrock below, giving the structure an extraordinary ability to withstand immense pressure. Researchers were even more surprised by comments from Champa Kelsang, former director of the Potala Palace Administration Office. He explained that the underground structure consists of far more than just a few isolated passageways. Instead, it includes 23 interconnected underground tunnels arranged within 8 tightly linked foundation levels. According to Champa Kelsang, without this sophisticated load-bearing system, Potala Palace would likely never have survived to the present day. Think about that for a moment. More than 1,000 years ago, Long before the invention of modern machinery, ancient builders were able to calculate structural loads with such remarkable precision that they created a foundation capable of supporting one of the world's most extraordinary architectural achievements. It's truly an accomplishment worthy of admiration. The tunnel system isn't impressive merely because of its size. It also preserves remarkable details that have fascinated archaeologists. Inside many sections of the tunnels, researchers found massive dark-colored wooden beams that remain remarkably intact despite spending hundreds, and in some cases more than 1,000, years underground. This is especially surprising because wood normally deteriorates over time due to termites, moisture, and decay. After conducting further analysis, scientists discovered that the ancient builders had treated the wooden beams using a specialized smoke-curing technique before incorporating them into the structure. This natural protective treatment made the wood highly resistant to insects, mold, and decomposition, even in damp underground conditions. It is an incredibly sophisticated method of preserving construction materials, one that far exceeds what many people have traditionally assumed about ancient engineering. Yet the more experts study Potala Palace, the more they realize how many mysteries remain unsolved. After centuries of expansions and renovations carried out during different historical periods, no one has been able to determine the exact number of rooms, corridors, and underground passageways hidden beneath the palace. In other words, what archaeologists have discovered so far may represent only a small portion of an enormous architectural labyrinth still concealed beneath the mountain. Originally built during the 7th century, Potala Palace is a remarkable combination of earth, stone, and timber constructed in the traditional Tibetan architectural style. Beyond serving as one of Tibet's most important cultural and religious symbols, the palace was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1994 in recognition of its exceptional historical and architectural significance. Yet following the discovery of these 23 ancient tunnels, the palace's greatest attraction may no longer be its magnificent appearance above ground. Instead, it may be whatever still lies hidden beneath it. How many secret passageways have yet to be discovered? Are there forgotten chambers that have remained sealed for centuries? And could the ancient builders have left behind even more secrets that modern science has not yet learned how to uncover? Perhaps only future excavations will answer those questions. But one thing is already certain. The discovery of the underground tunnel system beneath Potala Palace has once again demonstrated that humanity's greatest wonders sometimes hide their greatest secrets in the one place no one can see. 1,000-year-old guardian statue, outside an ancient tomb, reveals the secret of a wealthy merchant from China's Song dynasty. The story began when construction workers building a new project unexpectedly noticed unusual signs beneath the ground. Suspecting they had uncovered an ancient site, they immediately stopped work and notified the authorities. According to reports published by Chinese media on January 17th, the Changhua District Cultural Bureau quickly coordinated with the Chengdu Archaeological team to conduct an emergency survey and excavation. As layer after layer of soil was carefully removed, archaeologists uncovered an ancient tomb buried about 3.3 feet beneath the surface. The tomb was well proportioned, measuring approximately 10.3 feet long, 7.9 feet wide, and 4.3 feet high. Despite the passage of centuries, most of the tomb's structure remained remarkably well preserved, providing researchers with an excellent opportunity to study it in detail. Yet the first thing that caught the excavation team's attention wasn't inside the tomb at all. It stood directly in front of the entrance. There, guarding the doorway, was an approximately 2.6-foot-tall statue of a soldier that had remained standing intact for nearly 1,000 years. Countless rainy seasons had come and gone. Dynasties had risen and fallen. History itself had changed again and again. Yet the clay guardian continued to stand watch silently, as though it were still protecting its master's eternal rest. The image was not only visually striking, but also reflected the spiritual beliefs of ancient Chinese society, where people believed the deceased still required protection in the afterlife. As archaeologists continued exploring the tomb, they uncovered many more valuable artifacts. Among the discoveries were 20 ancient coins, several figurines of civil officials, animal figurines, and a bronze mirror that had also been preserved inside the burial chamber. Each object possessed unique characteristics, helping researchers better understand both the social status and the daily life of the individual buried there. After carefully analyzing the tomb's architecture and the artifacts recovered from the site, experts concluded that it most likely belonged to a wealthy merchant from the Song dynasty, which ruled China from AD 960 to 1279. This was a period when commerce flourished, cities expanded rapidly, and merchants gradually became one of the most influential groups in the economy. That historical context also helps explain why the tomb contained ancient coins and so many symbolic burial objects. These items were more than simple grave goods. They reflected ancient beliefs about prosperity, social status, and the hope for a comfortable existence in the afterlife. According to the researchers, this discovery not only provides valuable evidence about Song dynasty burial customs, but also offers important insight into the cultural life and economic activity of Changhua district in Chengdu nearly 1,000 years ago. Every coin, every figurine, and every bronze mirror serves as another small piece of the puzzle, helping historians reconstruct the picture of a once thriving era. As you can see, the true value of an ancient tomb isn't always measured by enormous treasures or rooms filled with gold and precious jewels. Sometimes, a single guardian statue standing quietly at the entrance, a handful of ancient coins, or a few small figurines are enough to help archaeologists better understand the lives, beliefs, and culture of people who lived centuries ago. And isn't that absolutely fascinating? The 1,300-year-old city, preserved intact beneath the bottom of a lake. Did you know that around the world, countless ancient cities have disappeared from the map because of war, earthquakes, or natural disasters? But there is one city that vanished in an entirely different way. It wasn't destroyed by war or swallowed by an earthquake. It simply disappeared beneath the water. What's even more astonishing is that after lying submerged at the bottom of a lake for decades, when people finally returned, they didn't find the pile of ruins they had expected. Instead, they discovered towering city gates, stone-paved streets, ancient bridges, and even stairways that remained almost perfectly intact, as if time itself had stopped the very moment the city slipped beneath the water. And if you didn't see it with your own eyes, you might never believe that such a place truly exists. So what city is this? How did it disappear? What allowed it to survive beneath the water for so many decades? And how many secrets are still hidden beneath the cold, dark depths of the lake? Let's travel to Qiandao Lake, located in Qunan County, Zhejiang Province, China, to uncover the answers. Today, Qiandao Lake is famous as one of China's most beautiful tourist destinations, known for its thousands of islands rising above crystal-clear blue waters. What many people don't realize, however, is that this lake is not a natural one. It was created in 1959 when the Chinese government built a hydroelectric power station on the Jinan River. To make way for the project, an enormous area was intentionally flooded, and with it, an ancient city with more than 1,300 years of history disappeared beneath the water forever. For decades afterward, the city was almost completely forgotten. Then, in 2001, an underwater survey led to a discovery that stunned both archaeologists and exploration experts. At a depth of approximately 131 feet, divers unexpectedly found an astonishing collection of ancient structures resting quietly on the lakebed. Before them stood 265 archways, massive city gates, bridges, and countless other architectural features that had been preserved in extraordinary condition. The city is known as Xicheng, or Lion City, named after the majestic 5 lion mountains that rise behind it. According to historical records, Xicheng was once a thriving urban center. It featured 5 large city gates, each reinforced with impressive defensive towers. The entire city covered an area roughly equivalent to 62 soccer fields, an extraordinary size for an ancient city. Before it was submerged, Xicheng also contained 6 main streets, all paved with stone and connecting every part of the city. For more than 1,300 years, those streets witnessed generations of people living, trading, and building prosperous communities. Then everything changed when the hydroelectric project began. Historical records show that approximately 290,000 residents were forced to leave their homes, places where their families had lived for centuries, to make way for the new reservoir. Yet what amazed the world most wasn't the fact that an entire city had disappeared underwater. It was how incredibly well it had survived. According to National Geographic, divers conducting the underwater surveys faced extremely challenging conditions. Once they descended to about 92 feet, almost all natural sunlight disappeared. Even their powerful underwater lights could illuminate only about 6.5 feet ahead. But as the beams swept across the ancient walls, everyone was left speechless. Despite resting beneath 85 to 131 feet of water for decades, the stone gates, staircases, wooden beams, and countless architectural details remained almost exactly as they had been. Intricate carvings were still remarkably sharp, and many structures showed little of the erosion experts had expected. Researchers believe the lake's calm, still water may have unintentionally acted as a giant time capsule, shielding the city from sunlight, wind, and the natural weathering processes that normally destroy ancient structures. However, that remains only a theory. To this day, no one knows exactly why Xicheng has been preserved so remarkably well. Why haven't the wooden structures decayed as they normally would? Why have so many buildings survived with so little damage after spending decades underwater? These are questions scientists are still working to answer. As you can see, history can sometimes be even stranger than science fiction. A city that was once filled with bustling streets, magnificent gates, and thousands of homes now rests silently beneath the lake like an enormous time machine. Perhaps somewhere beneath those deep blue waters, there are still forgotten streets no one has ever explored, hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered, and stories that future generations have yet to tell. That's why Xicheng is more than just an archaeological site. It is a reminder that the past doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it simply waits patiently for humanity to discover it once again. Hill filled with noble tombs and more than 200 treasures reveals a forgotten power. There's something fascinating about archaeology. The places that seem the most ordinary often turn out to hold the discoveries that reshape history. The hill at the Xiegu Archaeological Site in northern China is a perfect example. At first glance, it looks completely unremarkable. Just a barren hill that local people have passed by for generations. But no one could have imagined that beneath its seemingly ordinary soil lay an enormous 3,000-year-old aristocratic cemetery, containing a series of ancient tombs, remarkably well-preserved human remains, and more than 200 priceless artifacts that would once again see the light of day after lying undisturbed for over 3 millennia. The discovery was made at the Xiegu Archaeological Site in Qingjian County, Shanxi Province, China, where archaeologists have been studying the Lijiaya culture, a civilization that flourished during the late Shang dynasty, approximately 1600 to 1045 BC. Initially, the team's work focused solely on the ancient Lijiaya settlement. However, during the survey, the researchers decided to expand their excavation to the surrounding hills. That seemingly routine decision led to a discovery far beyond anyone's expectations. Hidden beneath those hills was an extensive cemetery complex, where archaeologists gradually uncovered numerous rammed earth structures and a collection of remarkably well-preserved ancient tombs. The discoveries extended far beyond the impressive architecture. Many of the tombs still contain the remains of those buried there, along with an extraordinary collection of valuable grave goods. According to Sun Zhanwei, a researcher affiliated with the Shanxi Provincial Institute of Archaeology, the excavation uncovered 9 cemeteries that served as burial grounds for individuals of high social status during the late Shang dynasty. Researchers also discovered 7 A-shaped tombs, carefully aligned along a north-south axis, revealing a highly organized approach to cemetery planning and burial rituals. Sun explained that these are the largest aristocratic tombs ever discovered in northern Shanxi province, marking an important milestone in the study of the region's ancient history. Yet the discovery that truly astonished archaeologists came from the Changliang Cemetery. There, researchers excavated 4 exceptionally large tombs, all dating to the Shang dynasty. 3 of them, designated M2, M3, and M4, were constructed as large earthen pit tombs containing an astonishing number of burial artifacts. Altogether, archaeologists recovered more than 200 treasures from these tombs. Even more remarkably, after more than 3,000 years, many of the objects remained exactly where they had originally been placed by the people who buried them. Among the discoveries was a complete bronze chariot fitting set, reflecting the wealth and status of the tomb's owner. Researchers also uncovered a turquoise inlaid swallow-shaped belt ornament, a jade inlaid belt, an animal-faced bean coffin ornament, gold earrings, seashells, jade artifacts, numerous ceremonial burial vessels, bronze axes, and bronze arrowheads. Every object was crafted with extraordinary precision, demonstrating that the metallurgy, carving techniques, and artistic achievements of the Shang dynasty had already reached an impressive level of sophistication. According to the researchers, the importance of this discovery extends far beyond the sheer number of treasures recovered. The entire cemetery has provided valuable new evidence about the Shang dynasty's political territory, power structure, and social organization in northern China. In addition, the wide variety of materials and artistic styles represented by the artifacts suggest that extensive trade networks existed among different communities more than 3,000 years ago. This indicates that Shang civilization was far from isolated, as many once believed. Instead, it maintained highly developed networks for the exchange of goods, technology, and culture. As you can see, an ordinary-looking hill can sometimes conceal an entire chapter of history beneath its surface. Simply by expanding their excavation a little farther, archaeologists uncovered aristocratic tombs, hundreds of priceless artifacts, and countless new clues that are helping unlock one of the most important periods in the history of ancient Chinese civilization. Isn't that absolutely fascinating? As you can see, the deeper we explore the ancient world, the more we realize that history still holds countless secrets waiting beneath the earth, at the bottom of lakes, or hidden inside fossils that are millions of years old. Every archaeological discovery not only helps us better understand the past, but also raises new questions that even the world's leading scientists have yet to answer completely. Perhaps that's exactly what makes archaeology so fascinating. So, what about you? Out of the 8 extraordinary archaeological discoveries in China we've explored today, which one impressed you the most or sparked your curiosity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinion and continue the discussion with you. And if you enjoy stories about history, unsolved mysteries, and fascinating archaeological discoveries, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Ancient History, and turn on notifications so you never miss our future videos. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Until next time, goodbye, and we'll see you again on another journey into the mysterious world of history in our next video.